Head to Whole Foods Market to jumpstart your January during our New Year boosting event with savings on feel-good favorites store-wide. Save on organic picks, wellness staples, and more all month long.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first, like you know to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
You know what's smart? Enjoying a fresh gourmet meal at home that you didn't have to cook. Meet Factor, your loophole in the laws of mealtime. Chef-crafted meals delivered with a tap, ready in just 2 minutes. You know what's even smarter? Treating yourself without cheating your goals. Factor is dietitian approved, chef prepared, and you plated. Pretty smart, huh? Refresh your routine and eat smart with Factor. Learn more at factormeals.com.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Rival Recon here on Anfield Index Pro. I'm Harry Sethi. A late brace from Darwin Núñez after the 90th minute saw the Reds emerge with a huge win against Brentford last Saturday, with their title rivals losing ground just a few hours later, in what could well prove to have been a pivotal weekend in the title race. With Slott's side securing a top 2 finish in the group stage of the Champions League midweek, our attention now shifts back towards the Premier League as Ipswich arrive at Anfield on Saturday afternoon, fresh off a 6-0 defeat to Manchester City. With the Reds keen to maintain professionalism during this pursuit of the title, just how will they deal with what's likely to be another defensive low block this weekend? Joining me in the pod to chat through how Ipswich have found life back in the Premier League this season and whether they're well positioned to win the mini-league they're in and ward off relegation, I'm happy to welcome back Dave Dymond from the Ipswich Town podcast, Blue Monday. Welcome back, Dave. Good to speak with you again after the first game of the season.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for having us back on. Yeah, seems a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It does. I think we were both saying that. I mean, like we weren't sure what to expect with this season, and I think that you were pretty much ready for whatever roller coaster came your way. To be honest, I think when we spoke right at the start of the season, and you assured me that opening game at home that the Ipswich would come and take the game with the usual approach and try and play sort of the attacking football that you got used to under Kieran McKenna. I think you can tell me if I'm wrong here, but it seems to have largely held true for the vast majority of the season in terms of how Ipswich have approached these games. But I wanted to, I guess, ask you, it's hard to consolidate everything and give me your thoughts. But since that opening game, I suppose not knowing too much what to expect from this season, what have you made of how the side has acquitted themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult. If you remember, it's got a difficult opening pair of games. Well, we've just got the corresponding fixtures. Obviously, we've just played. Obviously, we won't dwell too much on it. We've just played Man City at home, and obviously we're at Anfield on Saturday. But the corresponding fixtures at the start of the season, obviously, with the reverse one. So we had Liverpool at home. Obviously, you guys, and then City, if you remember, the very next Saturday. And yeah, we approached. I mean, I remember the Liverpool game for the first half. There really was not a lot in it. Honestly, we took the game. Kind of took the game to Liverpool. And Liam Delap, who's been obviously all the news about Liam Delap, our centre forward, number 9, was absolutely superb and absolutely bullied. I remember that game, Quansah, first half, so much so that Slot took him off at half time and put on Kanate. Well, you're not really going to, no matter how good or strong Delat was. He wasn't going to bully Canate. So just a bit on that game. That totally changed the game. Plus, Trent played about another 5 or 10 yards further up a pitch. It's just different. It was different game in the second half. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we've gone with that approach. It's pretty much most of the games, I'd say, and we've been competitive in most of the games. Early part of the season, obviously, we lost 4-1 at Man City. No disgrace there back then. And then picked up a few draws, and then we lost 4-1 to West Ham away, which really, I would say, was totally reflective of that game, really. We didn't really play that well. I don't think really it was a 4-1 game. And so we were still waiting till early November for a first win, which, if you remember, we won at Spurs. And that was pretty much, I think, the first game where we went from our standard sort of 4-2-3-1, we went to 3 centre-backs, 3 centre-halves. So almost a hybrid 5 at the back with, as you know, our wing-back, certainly our left wing-back, Leif Davies, pushes on. And it took, so that was fine. Then you get the odd result, very competitive, one away at Wolves last minute, great result. And then we played Newcastle at home just before Christmas. Again, played the same 4-2-3-1, and they were just superb that day. We lost 4-0. So then we went into the Arsenal game just after Christmas, again, coming off a 4-0 defeat at home. And played pretty well, went 5 at the back, only lost 1-0. Really, Arsenal, wouldn't say missed. We didn't create much, I've got to say, but Arsenal didn't really... You wouldn't say they missed too many gilt-edged chances. I don't think they did. And then took that into the next game. We won 2-0 at home to Chelsea. We drew 2-2 away at Fulham. And it's just the last week we've taken a bit of a knock. Brighton did a job on us really second half after scoring first. We got beat 2-0 at home. Then obviously I will have to mention it. Man City just turned up Sunday it was. And we got beat 6-0. Again, they scored 6 goals in 45 minutes either side of half time, which was kind of weird. So the overall answer to your question, yes, we've been competitive in most games, other than the odd 1 or 2, really, which has been great. Look, the bigger game for us, we're at Anfield Saturday, by far the biggest game for us, and probably it'll be the biggest game so far this season. The very following next Saturday week, we've got Southampton at home. And I know you go through scenario seasons when even Liverpool must have it, where you have, this is a must-win game. When you've been, not so much this season for Liverpool, but when they've been competing, with Man Cities and the Arsenals in the past for the title, you've had these must-win games. And I hate that expression, but I'd say Saturday week is a must-win game against Southampton. I think if we've got any pretense of staying up, really.
No, it certainly feels like it when you look at the table and the opportunities that are available for you. And I think, it's a weird one with Liverpool. I think it has a must-win games. I think when you're dealing with the probably just the trauma of title races past, actually, it does feel like every single game is a must-win, and you have to sort of actually keep reminding yourself that actually this season is not a season where you're being chased by that sort of Death Star from Manchester. Actually, it's a very different one this time round. And as you were talking through some of the results there, I mean, it sort of brought me on to my next question, and in that you mentioned right at the start of the season that it was going to be an adventure, you were looking forward to it, but you had confidence that this side could stay up as well. But on some of these games that you mentioned, that there are quite a handful of draws there, which show that the side has been hard to beat. Some teams there where I think there's absolutely zero shame in drawing against them actually sort of really illustrates how well you must have played in terms of course, Villa, how Villa have played this season. Fulham, I think the way in which Fulham have grown into
drew twice with Fulham. I suppose it will happen over the course of the season. We're disappointed. We've lost points, and it will happen over the course of the season. We've dropped points in very last minute. We were drawn at Brentford and soft goal. We were winning against Fulham up to the 90th minute, and they got another penalty. It was a penalty, but but over the season, I guess but then on the flip side of that, we got a very late winner, virtually last kick of the game against Wolves. So I guess that evens itself out. But what I've realised, and I know my fellow podcasters, I think, will say to a man, is what's really surprised us, and maybe that's even evident from the very first game against Liverpool, just the physicality and the athleticism, the sheer size of some of these teams. That's what's moved on. So, I mean, Ipswich, obviously, prior to this season, haven't been in the Premier League for 20-odd seasons, but that's what's moved on. I mean, just incredible. And in some games, we've just, some of our more technical players, perhaps Amari Hutchinson and players like that, have almost been bullied out of games quite fairly, but just the strength of the opposition is just, and sheer athleticism and obviously the technical ability. It's on a totally different level. It really is. And I think what we have said, for us really to stay up pretty much in nearly all of these games, we have got to be playing at 100%, maybe 100. We have got to be playing up there 100%. We've got to hope that some of these teams are perhaps at slightly off it, maybe 80%. Plus, then you have to have a bit of luck with the AR. You have to have a luck with that. And also a bit of luck along the way in these games. So I think, some of that has gone against us this season, some of the VAR stuff. But again, you hope that just evens itself out.
I actually remember when I think Slot was asked about the opening game against Ipswich, and of course lots was being made of that change with Kwanzaa coming off and Konate coming on, and you're right, Konate is a very different proposition to be dealing with. But I remember that they were pretty intent to get him to say something tactical, and he was like, well, no, it's just that actually most of it was just running. And in the second half, they ran more and they more physical, and they won the duels, and so we won the game. And it's been remarkable how that has happened quite a feue times this season, actually. And I know Arne Slot has seemed to suggest that you can see he's clearly a good tactician and understands the game well. I did particularly enjoy the United game at Old Trafford, where he basically just explained the blueprint on how to beat Eric Ten Hag's Man United, like pretty calmly after the game tactically. But the vast majority of the time, it has come down to the running and the physicality that he's mentioned. He said that for 20 minutes in this game, I guess we thought we could stop running, but no, we can't do that because the teams in this league will punish you if you do think you can ease off for any amount of time. So I think I completely agreed with you there on sort of this new level of physicality, and it's certainly with City, it's probably a good example in that, like, just slightly dropping off in terms of what they can do physically, and it's just not enough against quite a few teams. But
plus with City, Rodri, Kovacic is very good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Kovacic was outstanding on Sunday, but they missed. I mean, Rodri, Ballon d'Or, is just such an important player, and that's a good point you made actually. A good word, I think, is that second half, that first game of the season, was they came out with a totally different intensity. So clearly Slot had really got into them at half time. And it was, it was just, greater intensity in the second half. As I said, helped by Trent Bryant, probably played another 5-10 yards up the pitch, and unbelievable. And, bringing players like, I think he did score the first goal, bringing players like Jota off the bench, and that's again what we've noticed. Some of the squad sizes, some of the quality we're coming up against the teams bringing just quality off the bench. And, sometimes we've looked at our bench and by comparison, it looks, not bare, but experience-wise, and perhaps from a technical point of view, it's just not there.
Yeah, I think something else I was speaking to another fan about earlier this season was it feels as though every single team has probably about two players at least who you think could probably play in the Champions League for somebody like that, and wouldn't look out of place, like technically, physically, which is, I think, really shows how strong the league has gotten. And
it's incredible.
That's right, go on.
No, it's incredible. It really is. That's been the biggest eye opener, I think. Just the sheer athleticism and the physicality of these teams and the technical. I mean, obviously, talk about Liverpool, and you've got Virgil van Dijk, but basically could play anywhere. He could play in midfield, couldn't he? Technically, but that goes for most. I remember, going back, and again, I'm harping back 20 odd years, but I haven't seen much. I've seen Premier games since then. Obviously, not involved in Ipswich, in the flesh, so to speak. You see it in the flesh. Nearly all these times have got centre halves, and going back years, you still would have teams with two centre halves, centre backs, whatever you want to call them. One big lump heading it away, one perhaps a bit harder sort of thing. Just basically an out and out defence. But you've still got that. But all these centre backs can play as well. Can really play. Technically very strong as well. So you're up against that also.
No, absolutely. It's increasingly that is the case, and when they can't, on the odd occasion that they can't, I think you really see them exposed in some of these games as well. I think it's just coming to my head. I mean, yes, it's a Liverpool podcast. I'm going to highlight a Man United player, but I do think of Harry Maguire in some of those positions, and I'm not saying he's technically limited, but because he's not like a Van Dijk or he's not a bell playing player like Saliba, there are these times where you think he can do 80% of what you probably want a defender to do, like for a team in the middle to sort of lower half of the table. But because they have ambitions of trying to do more, it's often like proved too hard for him. But I wanted to ask you about these games this season and which ones to you have been the kind of standout fixtures. I mean, there's some great results amongst them, as you mentioned, the win against Spurs, the win against Chelsea, some of the draws, the draw against United, and so on. But are there games for you that really stand out, or is there a standout moment for you so far this season?
Obviously the the Spurs game was brilliant. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, it's football, is there? We were laughing about this. Me and a couple of pals were laughing about this because I think the very next week, I think I got this right, after we won at Spurs went to Man City and beat them 4-0. So, and then Man City, I know there's no rhyme or reason in football, and you can't correlate it like that. And then Man City came to Portland Road last week, beat us 6-0, and you think, how's that happened? I mean, obviously the Spurs, because it was the first win. The Chelsea game was a standout. We were really good that night. And again, in that game, you have a bit of luck. We were 1-0 up. You know, Delap wins a penalty, scores a penalty. We're 1-0 up, and they have a very marginal VAR offside go against. Go for us. It goes for us. Goal is given, goes to VAR. We get that decision. Okay, VAR gives it rightly wrongly, but that went our way. We got a brilliant second goal from Murray Hutchinson, and really nullified. Says you have to with Chelsea. Cole Palmer really wasn't that effective that night. So, that's got to be the standout moment of the season. A win over Chelsea, who are perceived are one of the big six. I'm saying big six, so to speak. And like I said, a lot of these games we only won one game. That's the only game we won at home all season. So it's it's been tough, but you just got to enjoy it. And to be honest, as it stands now, I would say we're in a mini league of. You would think Southampton are gone, and it's really us, Leicester, Wolves. Still wouldn't discount. I know Everton had changed manager, David Moyes, and they got a win. I mean, Spurs were awful. They got a win at the weekend over Spurs, who were dreadful. But I still think Everton aren't quite out of that. So I'd say we're in a mini league of four, really. All you've got to do is finish, first or second out of that mini league of four, haven't you?
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for thousands of appetizing ingredients that inspire countless mouth-watering meals. And no matter what tasty choice you make, you'll enjoy our everyday low prices. Plus, extra ways to save, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump with points. So you can get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 plus and present in select states. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles. Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
No, absolutely. That's the focus. And actually, having seen Leicester games since Ruud van Nistelrooy became manager. I mean, just the sheer number of shots that they're conceding is remarkable and not something to build any kind of foundation on. Southampton, weirdly, I mean, I think you're right. I think they are gone, but weirdly, being gone has sort of made them play with a bit more of a freedom.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, which is I've seen a couple of games recently where I thought actually they've been excellent. I thought they're excellent against United for large portions of that game as well.
United got away there. They were pretty good. I mean, I know they're 3-0 down. Could have gone like 4-1 down, I think. But against Forest, they got it back to 3-2, and then they had cleared off the line to make it 3-3. So no, I think you're right. They're it's quite ironic actually, because they're now, you'll say, playing a bit more freedom. Probably the best player who's been all season, Tyler Dibley, is out injured for about a month or so, which is quite surprising. So yeah, look, as far as we're concerned, that's really where we are, and by hook or by crook, you just need to finish. You just need to finish in 17th or better. That's basically it, really. But it's still going to be tough. Tough running. We've still got Wolves to play. Obviously, we've got Wolves to play at home. We've got Leicester to play away, and a lot of these games are towards the end of the season, which will be interesting. Our last game of the season, as it stands, is West Ham at home. So it's still, I think any Ipswich fan, I guess, really, if you'd asked me, as we said, if we spoke right at the start of the season, you would have asked them now that you'd be, I think we are on goal difference. We're 18th in goal difference, I think. Only on goal difference. You played 20, 21 games, whatever we played, sort of virtually half the season to go. I think they would have taken it. I think it'd have been a tough pill to swallow if you're like Southampton, like, I don't know, what are they, 12 points adrift now, whatever they are. I mean, I think that would be tough to take, but yeah, I think most Ipswich fans would have taken that.
Yeah, and I think one thing that was definitely labelled at Southampton, and of course the manager came in for a huge amount of sort of scrutiny around just how steadfast he was to his philosophy and sort of asking the players to try and play out the back, build out the back, and in really difficult circumstances. And I think I'm always one who I don't think that there's anything wrong with having a personal philosophy and sort of sticking to it to a large degree. And then there's other times where you think, okay, we're going to have to maybe make some adjustments here just to get some results on the board, just to give these players the confidence to play the way I'm asking them to play. And you mentioned Kieran McKenna there making a decision to change to a back three or back five at times at some point during the season. And I want to ask, like, how do you think in general, and you can mention that as well, and any other tactical changes he's made, but how do you think he's taken to this challenge of actually sort of managing in the Premier League against these kind of opponents, as you mentioned there, with the physicality and the technical skill?
Yeah, I think it's been hard. It always was going to be hard, but that philosophy hasn't changed. We're still looking to play out from the back. We've changed goalkeepers in recent weeks. We had Aaron Muric in goal, who we got from Burnley on the eve of the season, start of the season. He's made a couple of errors, ironically. Not surprising, playing out from the back, and a couple of other errors. And now we've got Christian Walton back in goal, who was our goalkeeper when we won League One. Didn't play really hardly at all last season. He was usurped by Vladimir Lacki, who we sold up to Burnley, strangely. So that's been the change. But no, the philosophy, we are still playing out from the back. I would say perhaps in recent weeks with the advent of the three centre backs, and perhaps with Christian Walton in goal, we've perhaps become a little bit more direct. But you've got Delap, who, I mean, you've seen him. He's referred to a bit of a battering ram. He's more than that, but a battering ram, very physical strike. But even him, in some games where we have gone long to him, he's up against two big physical centre halves, and he just can't do it. He just can't do it on his own. So it's. Yeah, I think the philosophy really hasn't changed. McKenna's kept to that, playing it out from the back. But, perhaps a little bit more direct in recent weeks, I would say. And I think Saturday might be more the same. I would have thought.
And in terms of players who have not just caught the eye, but been sort of the key cogs for you this season, obviously the likes of Delap have caught people's attention in terms of just how he takes to the game. I think in terms of sort of his approach, the intensity of his approach has been very hard to miss. But as well as him, have there been other players that you think deserve to be highlighted for the work that they've done?
Yeah, I think so. I think Leif Davis has done well, the left wing back, who obviously he was the assist king last year in the championships, and I think he's quite well up there. Well, we haven't scored that many goals, but yeah, he's got his fair share again this season. Perhaps I just can't call it a criticism because that's why he plays. He's a left wing back that plays high up the pitch, and perhaps he's getting a little bit more protection now as an advent of playing the three centre halves. So we've got another left-sided centre back, a left-sided centre back in there. He's perhaps been exposed on one or two occasions, but he's played well. Amari Hutchison in certain games, he's played really well. Chelsea was a case in point against his old club. Also Man United as well. He scored the equaliser against Man United. He was really good. Of the new signings that come in, obviously Delap, I've spoken about him before, has been absolutely outstanding. Probably the pick of the signings that came in is Dara O'Shea, Ireland centre-back, Irish international centre-back, came from Burnley. He's done well, certainly in recent weeks. I think other than Delap, he's probably been the pick of the new signings. I guess one disappointment, I have to say, perhaps has been Calvin Phillips, who obviously we got on loan maybe after we spoke. It must have been after was he here for the Liverpool? I can't remember whether we signed him before the first game or not. I really can't remember. But Calvin Phillips, he's had his injury issues. Hasn't really hit it. But you can see it's still there. It's still there. He's perhaps lacking a little bit of consistency where, for us, having him on loan, obviously very established, experienced, not only Premier League player but England international. I think we perhaps expected a little bit more from him, but who knows? That may yet come. He obviously was couldn't play against Man City. Obviously, he's on loan from there. So I'd still say the two stand out has been Liam Delap and certainly and Leif Davis, Amari Hutchison to a degree.
No, Calvin Phillips was in the squad actually. Just checked it.
Yeah,
he was on the bench.
I do remember that. I think he did actually come on. Now you mention it. I think he perhaps did. Yeah, it's all a bit hazy, but yeah, we did sign a few players. But yeah, I think he perhaps was. Yeah, but yeah, it's not. You can see signs of it. I know we had a cup game against Bristol Rovers. I mean, you'd expect that 2 weeks ago. He absolutely run the game, which you would expect against that. And yeah, there has been signs of it in certain, certain games. But yeah, certainly the big games, I expect him to come back in and play on Saturday? Perhaps would actually. You would. Yeah, obviously difficult for him to establish authority on a midfield of Liverpool's ilk. But yeah, if he didn't play Saturday, you'd certainly be looking for him to really establish authority on the Southampton game the week after.
And you mentioned signings and sort of how those summer signings have done so far, and a couple have performed obviously very highly for you. And whenever you're in this like sort of four team league, as you mentioned, and sort of focus purely on how many points you can get to stay in the league, it's always interesting to see what clubs do decide to spend in January into sort of what areas they do. And you have spent and you have made business in terms of
we signed Jayden Philogene from Villa. We're on the cusp of signing him. He was a Villa player. I don't know if you know much about him. He was a Villa player. He went to Hull last season, and we were on the cusp of signing him. He had a decent season with Hull last season, right-sided, sort of slide quick. And we're on the cusp of signing him pre-season, and then it was one of the Villa apparently had one of these matching rights deals. So they pretty much, if they could match our fee, they had the first kind of option on him. And I think he was obviously grew up at Villa, so he went back to Villa 6 months on. I don't think it's really happened for him. He's played the odd Champions League. I think probably speaking to a Villa fan the other day, the best game he's had this season, I think. Ironically, he was in the Champions League against Bayern Munich, I think. So he's obviously got something about him. But no, McKenna, we got a bit protracted. That the transfer went on for about 10 days. Whether it was, I don't know, agents issues, or I don't know quite what it was. Just getting the right deal. And we finally got him in this time last week. So we had a brief cameo, admittedly, when we were probably 5-0 down against Man City. But yeah, when he got on the ball, looked really neat and tidy, and certainly got some pace about him. And then, so that's good. And then yesterday we signed Julio Enciso and Ciso on loan from Brighton, Paraguayan international. Actually, some more goal of the season a couple of years ago. Get off here against City.
It was in a high-profile game. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, unbelievable goal. He's been, I think he's had, may have been perhaps slightly injured early season. He's made 13 starts this season. Scored, always good. Scored against Norwich in the Cup. Always good as an Ipswich fan a couple of weeks ago. And we've got him. And I think he signed. Yeah, that was confirmed today. So he's eligible for Saturday. Whether he'll start Saturday or not, I don't know. But yeah, we're certainly having a go. And yeah, we really need. Ideally, you need another number 9 to give Delap support. We've got George Hurst, who has had 2 injuries this season. Injured for a fair bit of last season. Great player, but you just can't rely on him. I mean, he picks up injuries, so you can't really rely on him. So now we're certainly going after another number 9. But as McKenna said today in his press conferences, it's hard. There's not many out there proven who can come in and really do a job, or who's better than what you've got.
Yeah, January is always a tough window. It's been interesting from Liverpool's perspective because, again, probably that same kind of trauma from previous seasons where you're like, oh God, surely just get a bit of business in just to shore up a couple of positions. I think
where do you see? Where would you see, Harry, that you need strengthening? Support. Sorry, you would need that support if you do.
I think the most obvious area for Liverpool is probably left back at the moment, and I say that just because Robertson's having the natural kind of physical decline of somebody who has played. I think he's 8th in sort of the players who played the most minutes in the last sort of 5 or 6 seasons in the world.
It's a toll. It's a toll. Yeah,
huge amount of running, and
up and down. Yeah,
he just can't be expected to be, or it's not about him being expected. He's not as quick as he once was.
No.
And when you're coming up against some of these pretty difficult, as you mentioned, physical, tricky, technically good wingers, it's quite a lot for him to play on a regular basis, and it doesn't seem as though Tsimikas, who's the alternative, who I think played quite well this season, is trusted by Slot. I mean, again, if both of them were fit for the rest of the season, you probably think you can get away with it. But
yeah,
you wonder whether or not getting somebody in, if we could get a signing in, that's one that we were going to go after in the summer anyway, and just get them into bed in over the next few months or so.
Did I see you looking at the lad? He's a good player. The lad from Bournemouth, Kirkic, the left back.
Yes.
Sorry, Ipswich, very decent.
Yeah, Kirkic, because he profiles very similar to Andy Robertson in how he did in terms of just a physical kind of monster, up and down.
Yeah, really good, quick. Yeah,
but it's kind of tough, I think, because we're not sure what's happening with Trent. I think that will impact what we do in terms of the left back signing, because we might decide to go and pursue someone completely different to Trent, because it's not like you can just go out and find somebody who plays like Trent if he does decide to leave,
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. So we might go, okay, we're going to get a more defensive right back, and actually the left back's going to be the attacking one from now on. And I think there's a little bit of that across the board. And I would have been fine with no signings in January if we announced even one of those contract extensions. So I think
that's the next thing is where do you stand, Reece Salah?
Yeah. Oh, right. So I think my opinion for a while has been that I expect Salah and Van Dijk to sign, and I think and Trent to go. Just in terms of thinking about their options, thinking about what's likely to be suited. I also think there could easily be a situation where, given how incentivized Liverpool's kind of contracts have been over the years, that the issue with announcing them is that they're kind of waiting for one of the other players to reveal their hand, because I'm pretty sure there's some clauses in there about who has to be the highest earner and by what percentage, all that stuff. So I can actually well imagine that Van Dijk has committed himself like a while ago, and is just waiting to see what Mo does, because that will probably impact what happens with Van Dijk. And then you can't really announce, if you announce Mo and Van Dijk, but you don't announce Trent, that's, you know what's going to happen to Trent then in terms of sort of the pressure on him. I understand it's in this weird situation, but and it's not hindered the season. It's not hindered how professional they've been.
Do you know what? I think your squad players have done well. Players like players like Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, just almost seamless when they come on, and when they've started or when they've played, almost seamless, isn't it? Yeah. Connor Bradley, who I saw play for, just a couple of seasons ago, playing League One for Bolton, absolutely outstanding player. I think he's head and shoulders the best player I saw in. Obviously Ipswich, who had a great season, and Bolton didn't go up, but he was head and shoulders, one of the best. I'd say the best fullback I saw.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.